year to pay for massive new eco-taxes in order to fund your government's tire recycling monopoly. But then you got caught. You called out by the Ontario PC Party and hard-working farmers across the province. So you went on damage control, looking for a way out. And what was your solution? Tinkering with the eco-tax funding formula. Now, instead of a 2,000% increase, farmers will face a 1,000% increase, only to have the next 1,000% tacked on to the bill sometime next year. Minister, does your eco-tax policy change mean you remain committed to your failed tire tax program?
Question. Thank you. Minister of the Environment.
Well, as an individual who's part of the party that brought in the flawed Waste Diversion Act in 2002, which everybody has been trying to work with since, and which, by the way, your leader was the Minister of Consumer and Commercial Relations at that time, so you might call him the godfather of eco-taxes in this province, because he failed to protect the people of this province when that legislation was brought in.
He didn't know what he was doing.
So I want to say that I was pleased that Ontario Tire Stewardship, which is independent of government, set up under legislation that you as a government brought in, sat down with the farmers and tried to come to a conclusion which would be beneficial to both and to find a formula that was reasonable. But I think everybody in this House agrees that your flawed legislation has to be completely changed. And that is the goal of our government, is to change that legislation.
Thank you. Supplementary.
So you can claim that blame game all you want, but Ontarians know the truth. Speaker, they had 10 years to amend the Waste Diversion Act and have done nothing. Nothing. Instead, your government chose to use this piece of legislation to grow massive new...
First of all, I might want to come to this side and say stop heckling, but I have to come to this side and say stop heckling because I'm having trouble hearing the question.
Speaker, their government chose to use this piece of legislation to grow massive new bureaucracy and develop excessive new taxation powers.
Come to order.
Last November, the PC Party called on you to end your eco-tax programs, yet you chose not to act. Now there's a growing chorus of voices, all telling you to dismantle your recycling monopolies, which surprisingly now even includes the Toronto Star. Everyone understands that these programs unfairly penalize consumers and unnecessarily restrain the ingenuity of the free market. So, Minister, I'm asking you today, will you...
Gotta get your timing down. Minister of the Environment.
What I am going to commit to is undoing the damage that your government did when it brought in the Waste Diversion Act of Ontario. And I recall sitting at the table at the time, some may remember this, sitting at the table at the time was none other than your leader, who was Minister of Consumer and Commercial Relations and did nothing to protect the consumer. But I do note that there has been a change, I think, in view by the opposition. I notice that we see now that the head of Ontario Waste Diversion in Ontario, as opposed to this, I notice that Rob Cook as well has said there's no use tinkering with this act that, of course, you established. He said the act has to be completely revamped. And what I have said to you and to others is we're going to get rid of that Conservative Act, which has caused so many problems and enabled this situation to arise.
Thank you. New question.